Joining us now with more on this, the Congresswoman representing Arizona's 8th Congressional District, Debbie Lesko. Congresswoman, every time we think it's gotten bad or worse, it keeps getting worse.
It does, and that's because the Biden administration and the Democrats make absolutely no sense. In fact, they do the opposite of what most common sense people would believe. So, believe it or not, here in the U.S. Capitol, in the U.S. House of Representatives, the dictatorial Nancy Pelosi has again installed the mask mandate here on the House side, but not on the Senate side. Yet she's perfectly fine, and Biden and the Democrats are perfectly fine with having open borders, people from other countries coming into our countries, flying all over the United States with COVID and spreading it everywhere. This makes absolutely no sense. It's totally ridiculous. Unfortunately, it's what we're becoming used to in our country with Biden and the Democrats in control. It's insane.
It is. It's the fact that Dr. Fauci, he spends so much time on the media, but of course they're complicit. Otherwise they would ask him, why is it that people crossing the border don't have to wear masks if that's the biggest threat to us? But they're housed in hotels. They get to go out and eat at restaurants. They get to live under a different standard than the rest of us do, even members of Congress.
You're absolutely right. And what's the kicker, too, is that there's legal people that normally have, cards, visas to go across the border. Like if they live in the border towns in Mexico, normally they can legally cross through the ports of entry and go shopping in, let's say, Arizona or Texas, right? Those people are not allowed to do that now because of COVID. But if they just go away from the port of entry and just cross illegally, well, then they're in. This makes absolutely no sense. It's craziness what is going on in our country under the Democrat majority in the House and Senate, under Pelosi's rule, under Biden and Harris's rule. This is total insanity. And, I'm laughing a little bit about it because I don't want to cry about it. This is hurting our country. They're spreading COVID all over the place, and then they have the gall to tell us that we should wear masks again, that our students and schools should be wearing masks. This is outrageous, and everyone should be outraged. And we're here fighting the good fight, the Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives. But I tell you what, Pelosi is like turning into a dictator over here, and she's threatening to arrest our staff if they don't wear a mask.
Well, is there any way you could hire some illegal immigrants on your staff? Then if they show up with no masks, then they could actually be detained.
Wouldn't that be something? I like how you think.
Well, their logic, right? It's such a reverse logic. And the fact that they act like they're protecting us, I think that's what resonates, or really, people are resentful about it. Because if you were trying to protect us, as in the beginning when we heard this was good, okay, that makes sense. But when there's this double standard going on, and the fact that children in migrant facilities, they're getting sick, this isn't fair to the migrant children and the migrant adults either.
You're right. In this whistleblower report that came out and was reported to my committee that I'm on, Energy and Commerce Committee, it's kind of shocking that what is going on in our ICE facilities and our detention facilities, that all these people are having COVID, and then to hear that these nonprofit groups are paying for the illegal immigrants to be flown all over the country. If we're so worried that Americans are going to spread COVID, why is not Biden and Kamala Harris and the Democrats here in Congress worried about illegals doing the same thing? It's a total double standard, and that's what people are so upset about. They can see it with their own eyes, and geez, I hope they wake up, and so that we can take back the Republican-controlled House and Senate, and then in a couple more years, in 2024, take back Republican presidency so we can have some sanity back in our country again.
The world is laughing at us when you see the defense secretary actually leaving the plane and he has a shield and a mask and all of these things. It's like it's political theater at this point, because There's no logic to it whatsoever. Now, your state in particular, I know Texas has been hit really hard, but Arizona, you've been trying to send National Guard to the border. The governor there has. What else do you need in the state or from other states to help you secure the border?
Well, quite frankly, the laws need to be changed, and that's why I have introduced bills in Congress to do what really has to be done. The things that President Trump did really mitigated the border crisis that he was handed, and so we had our numbers go way down, like the Remain in Mexico policy, where if people were going to come and claim asylum to live in America, they had to stay in Mexico. Well, that really put a damper on it, so all these people weren't coming here because they didn't want to stay in Mexico. They just wanted a green light to come into the United States. And so when Biden is providing them with this green light to just come in, hey, come on in, we're going to give you citizenship, we're going to give you free health care, that is what's causing the problem. Now,
right.
Arizona could use all the help they can get. You know, we really try to secure the border, and when I was in the Arizona legislature, I was a co-sponsor of Senate Bill 1070, which was a national deal at the time, where back when Obama was the president, he wasn't securing the border either. And so Arizona said, well, we're going to do it ourselves because the federal government is not enforcing the law. And then, of course, the courts got involved. All these liberal groups sued, and the courts threw out most of it. And so I've been fighting this battle for a long time on behalf of my Arizona residents and, quite frankly, on the behalf of all of the American people. We get to get back to rational sanity.
Absolutely.
Republicans are compassionate people. We care about people.
Right.
But what we have now is total lawlessness, total crisis.
It's so sad.
It's very sad.
It really is. Congresswoman, thank you for your work on this. Keep us updated, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.